check it out. We have some new markers here from Montana. These are their acrylic water-based markers. They're nice and non-toxic in that they're made out of all water-based products, so they're not going to be containing xylene and so forth like some other markers do. But basically, they're the new kind of paint marker style. These are the smaller nib sizes. We have fine and extra fine. So the fine tip is a standard 2mm nib. You're probably familiar with them as far as the deco size goes. Broad tip deco, pretty much the exact same nib there. So that being said, you can pretty much get use out of these for canvas work or black book stuff. You're not going to get much bigger than that. They do offer a lot larger nib sizes and body markers, but those are in a different video. Be sure to check those out. It'll be linked below and so forth. So just check the end of the video or the description for more information on that. But for the markers, the extra fine comes in a 0.7mm. This is super small, and don't think they're limited to these size nibs. There's also a range, at least for these two markers. You can get a bullet tip. You can also get a calligraphy tip in some varied sizes. So you can get a calligraphy tip up to a 2mm for the extra fine. The bullet tip is 1mm, so a little bit bigger than the stock, as well as a 0.5 kind of like needle tip, so really small on that. But the stock is 0.7 and then 2 for this, but you can also get a chisel tip and a calligraphy tip, two different little options that are in addition. But these markers are pretty easy as far as replacing nibs and refilling them. It's basic twist off, clear body, so if you ever put new color in there, you know exactly what you're pumping out, which is a nice feature from them. First up, we're going to do the cyan. And we'll just do a line test to show you how smooth they write. Next up, we have Shock Pink Light. And then another line test after a nice fill. And last, for the fine tips, we have a fluorescent acid green. Alright, so we're going to have to zoom in a little bit here to get these extra fine markers. So here we have the Shock Black. Next up, we've got the Shock Lilac, deep purple color. Shock Light Blue. And for the Shock White, we'll be using a dark surface. Away a little bit on the vinyl as it is a slick surface and not really porous, much like the paper I was using, but in the end you can still see the opacity is really great for the Shock White. So after using the Montana markers for a little while now, I've got a good feeling for how they really work, and I'm really happy with what they're doing. The opacity was definitely there for all the different colors. Even the white on the glossy black surface held up nice and well. The light blue on the white was nice, and even the fluorescent color was a big improvement from everything I've really used in the past. Fluorescent colors I wanted to highlight, I guess specifically. I've really had a tough time with those in the past. I love using them, but they always seem to be really hard with opacity and, you know, flow and everything, just because it's a lot thinner of a color. That being said, it's still not perfect. They're still not going over blacks per se, but definitely there for opacity. As far as fluorescence, definitely my favorite fluorescent color I've used to date, I should say. Opacity was there for the light blue and the pink, totally right on with everything and works great. Definitely a good step above the rest with the refill purposes of being able to just unscrew it, clear body, so you know what color is being produced afterwards, as refilling other paint markers have proved to be a hassle in the past for myself. And then on the fine marker tip, a lot of the extra fine style markers that produce these thin lines in the paint marker version tend to dry up really fast. If anyone's used them before, I know they've just created headache after headache because the nibs are so small that there only is a little bit of paint in there, and that allows them to dry up super quickly. So this new style nib that they are having with these, I want to say it's almost like a ballpoint style, but they're not really disclosing that exactly what the new nib is made out of, besides it's a little bit of a plastic tip. So we're gonna just call it the new tip from Montana, and it's working great. I've been at it for probably a couple weeks now, and it hasn't dried up. Just once you get it flowing, works well for an outline, and then cap it off, and it's good to go for the next time. Much like any paint marker, you gotta juice it every once in a while. They do flow nice and even. As you can see, the single stroke passes. It's not like they're drying up in mid stroke, which is normal and something that's a great additive to it. Something you should all expect going into a paint marker, and they've done a great job. So if you have any questions about the paint markers, leave them in the description down below. As well as if you want to check them out for yourself, 33rd hooked me up with these, and they can hook you up just as much. So head over there to check them out, and be sure to check out the other videos in the series. I've got some tagging size markers in the Montana Acrylic, as well as some blackline alcohol-based markers that are also in the bigger tagging size. So I've got a ton of markers to go through, and I'll be enjoying that as well as making the videos for you guys. So be sure to head over to 33rd and check them out. I'll leave a coupon code down below if they hook me up with one, as they normally do. And if you do order through them, you know, it helps me make more of these videos and helps them with the order. So if you have any questions, hit me up. If you have any comments about how I made the video, what I included, let me know for that as well. It's gonna do it for me. Peace.